Hey guys, it's Kaz here. It has been a while. I'm not going to say I'm back again because I said that last time and then didn't film anything for months. But hey, I'm doing a video now and it's got to be uploaded. So today I'm going to be doing my wrap up for the spring reading challenge is what I believe it's called. Spring reading challenge. This is a challenge that Victoria over at What Victoria Read created. It went through 3 months and there was a bunch of prompts and I'm going to talk about all the books that I read for all the prompts. Surprisingly, I did actually complete them all. I was not expecting to, but I did manage to. But also head over to Victoria's channel. Obviously I'll leave her down below. She's dealing with some health issues at the moment, so definitely go and show her some love, go and watch some of her videos and just enjoy the vibe over there because she's great. So yeah, I'm just gonna say what the prompts were and what I read for them. I might go into the books a little bit, I might not. I don't want this video to be going on for 14 years. You might be able to hear the fan, you might be able to hear any cars that go past because the window's open, but it is 10 o'clock and 26 degrees, so deal with it. Just be glad you can't see that I'm in my pants right now. So let's get started. The first prompt was flowers or nature on the cover, and for that one I read Fables Volume 3, which is called Storybook Love. Let me show you a bit closer so you can see. These little twisty bits are plants. Leaves are also plants. Yeah, Fables is a series about characters that you would expect to find in like all the fables and that, and fantastical places, but then they also exist here in the real life because they've all had to move to this world because their world's getting overrun by evil stuff. So yeah, it's a great time. The second prompt is queer rep, and for that one I read The Boy I Love by William Hussey. This is set during World War I and it is about a captain and one of his private dudes, and it's them on the front lines doing frontliney stuff but also falling in love, as you would expect. I actually really enjoyed this, which is surprising. I don't normally like war stories, but also generally it's World War II that I'm more put off rather than World War I, because I feel like we learn so much about World War II at school and stuff. I just can't be asked to read about it or watch stuff about it, but also I have also watched and seen and read a bunch of stuff that I do enjoy about World War II. It's just not something that I lean towards, but I found this at a charity shop along with another book by the same author, so I just grabbed them. I didn't even see that it was about the war, but I didn't even care. And also it was World War I, which is not as, you know, I'm not as put off by. But yeah, really enjoyed this book actually. The next one was Match a Drink to a Cover, and for that one I read Minor Arcana by Jeff Lemire. This one, I think I took a picture, hopefully I still like have it and it exists, but the front cover is like the sort of murky browny colour of a cup of tea, and grey. I think my cup was grey and I had grey in the cover. If the picture exists still, it's there. But this is a comic series. I didn't realise it wasn't actually finished. This was a bind up of all of it so far. I thought it was an old thing that he had, but it's actually not finished yet, and it's about a girl that goes back to her hometown and her mum does like palm reading and psychic stuff, and then she finds out that like she actually can see all this crazy stuff, and there's also like weird people that are also into that stuff and they're like being dodgy to her, all that sort of stuff. But it's not finished yet, but I read that, it was good. After that, the next one was Oldest Book on TBR, and I read Backstrokes by Dylan Madrid. I don't know exactly if this is the oldest book on my TBR, but I do own like a bunch of random self-published books that I got off Amazon really cheap. Whenever they were cheap, I used to just have like a massive list of them, indie books, and when they went on sale I would just pick them up. I think this was one of them. Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. Yeah, it was very random. It was about these two guys that fall in love, but then like the dynamic's really weird between them. It's really toxic. It's really, yeah, it was strange. It's not something that I'm going to keep hold of. I'm going to unhaul this, but you know, I finally read it. It's off my TBR, so boom. And the next one was a seasonal read. So I read Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow by Benjamin Dean. This was seasonal because I read it, and it, you know, Pride Month exists, so I didn't actually read it in Pride Month, but I don't know, I've put it on here as seasonal read, so I think maybe I read it near there, or something happens in this book at this time, or maybe it's just because it's like spring. something like that. It was a fun time. This is about a young boy who finds out that his dad's gay, and him and his friends plot a plot to go to Pride and try and figure out like what's occurring there. And it was a good time. After that, it was read an Irish author, and I read The Vanishing Triangle, The Women That Ireland Forgot, or The Murdered Women That Ireland Forgot. It's there anyway. I can't remember the author because I did read this on my Kindle, but you'll see it right here. This is non-fiction about a triangle, or a triangle-ish, like part of Ireland where a lot of women have gone missing. Some of them have turned up dead, a lot of them have just gone missing and they've never been found. Even the ones that were found dead, like very rarely anybody even like as a suspect has been found, never mind somebody being convicted for it. So it's a very strange like sort of thing that was happening there. And yeah, it's weird to say, but I enjoyed this in as much as I thought it was very informational. It's something you never really hear talk about, these women that went missing in Ireland, and a lot of people would think that they're not connected. A lot of people think they are connected. Like, is it a serial killer? Is it just loads of different people doing dodgy stuff? Also, the author is from like really close to where some of this was happening, so a lot of this book is her perspective, and she'll even be like, oh yeah, at that time I was very much like the same age as this woman and I would go to this place. So I like giving her opinions of what was happening around there and going to certain pubs or clubs and stuff. And also obviously the Troubles, so knowing that Ireland was very violent at that point. And we also go into a lot of different things like the IRA, corruption, different people, you know, getting vanished because they didn't fit into what they should be fitting into, or they did some stuff that certain people didn't believe in. So yeah, it was very interesting, and it's something that I'd never really heard about, so yeah, good times. After that, it was a reread, so I read How to Be a Normal Person by TJ Klune. I first read this on my Kindle many years ago, and then I got this one for Christmas, so I reread it. It's a contemporary, and it's about Gus, who's very unique, and it's him, this new hipster, stoner, asexual person comes to town, and he's like very flustered by that and is trying to figure out how to be normal so he can find out how to like interact with Casey and get together with him. So it was very, if you know TJ Klune, you know his style is very whimsical, it's very fun, it's very unique and individual, and it's a good time. It's the first TJ Klune book I ever read back in the day, so yeah, reread that. Oh my days, I'm so warm right now. Food on the Cover was the next one, and for that I read Fables Volume 1. As you can see right there, if my face stops being, there's an apple there. Ooh. Focus on him and not me, there we go, there's an apple there. So that's food, boom. And I've already talked about Fables, so this is the first volume of that one. It was also a reread, obviously. Oh no, I was going to say that's what I did it for, but no. This was a reread. Good times. Next up, we had a random pick. And for this one, I read Keeper of Enchanted Rooms by Charlie N. Holmberg. This was a random pick because I went into my local indie bookshop, which is really cool, and there will be a video out at some point soon-ish. I say that about everything, that I talk more about this bookshop, but the Dragon's Nook. It's a fantasy bookshop, and it's really popular. It's got really popular, which is amazing because it is just like a little shop owned by this one woman. And I went in there and was chatting with her, and she recommended this series, so I picked it up and read the first one, and I really enjoyed it actually. It's about a haunted house, and it's set in Victorian times, I think. And it's about this woman who goes around to enchanted houses and tries to figure out what's occurring there, and also like loads of fun magic stuff and whimsical and a good time. The next one was Big Book, over 400 pages, and for this one I read the Somebody's Killing the Children omnibus. This was mostly a reread. I had read 1 to 6 already, but then the last 2 are ones that I hadn't read already, so boom. Big Book. It's great. Somebody's Killing the Children, you've heard of it. It's a comic series about monsters that children can see but adults can't because they're like, don't believe in monsters anymore, and it's great. The next one was Disabled Rep, and for that one I read Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. In this one, our main character does deal with some mental health issues, and she does take medication for that, and is something that is brought up several times in the book, so boom. this is the only book in this sort of this series. It's not really an ongoing series in that it like continues, but they're all have like the same characters in and stuff. I've not read the other ones, but the other characters are in here. I've heard of them. Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail and Delilah Green Doesn't Care. They're in here, but I've not read them ones. But yes, very much enjoyed this book. Boom. We're about halfway through ish, maybe something. So here's like here's some animals because they're cute. Deal with it. Is the sun out finally? Is it finally nice weather, Riggsy? Next up, next up was Match Outfit to Cover, and for this one I read The Mighty Nein Origins Volume 1. This is 4 volumes of like different origins of different characters, these 4 characters as you might see, and specifically the cover for the first one, because this is the cover for the comic when you have it on buy it on your own. This Jester cover, I specifically have worn the t-shirt again so I can show you. This t-shirt is like pink and blue. I was wearing this when I read it, so boom. This was a mixed bag. They're done by different artists. One of the artists did 2 of the comics in here. One of them I was not really a fan of. I think it was the Yasha one I didn't like the art in. But then the Not one, no, the opposite way around. Yeah, no. Yeah, the Yasha one I wasn't a fan of. The Not one I think fit with the character of Not more. Even though it was the same artist, I think. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of the Yasha one. The art, I mean, the story, you know, the story was good. But yeah, 4 prequel stories of these characters and what happened to them. After that, the next one is Self-Care, and for that one I've put theatre. I went to see Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. This was very much on a whim. I literally booked the tickets a few days before because I was like, you know what, I've not done anything fun recently, so boom. I went to see Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It was great. I was like right at the back. I've never been in the concert hall that high before in Nottingham. It's like proper steep like that, the seats are. But it was a great time. It was fun. It was musicy, it was acty, it was draggy, it was gay, it was really good. I've never actually seen the film though, but now I actually want to watch the film. I've been wanting to watch it for years, I just never got around to it. But now I know the story and I want to watch it even more. Next one was a classic, and I read The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. This one, I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed it. When I first started it, it took me like a few pages to get into it, but it's actually really funny and really satirical and feels quite modern. I understand why people could still put it on as a show. This is a play, it reads as a play, it is a play. I see how it could just like be made right now and feel up to date and modern. It's a fun time. I've finally read an Oscar Wilde, so there you go, boom. The next one was non-fiction, and for that one I read One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This. I can't remember the author's name, it's here on this book. I did actually go into this on a wrap-up on my channel, so if you want to hear all my thoughts on this book, I talked about it for quite a while, but basically this is about what is happening in Palestine. Yeah, go and watch my thoughts there because I have mixed feelings about the book. It was good and it's important and it's definitely necessary, so I'm not mixed feelings in that I don't believe it was like true, but yeah, I felt like it was brought out too early in this whole situation because so much more has happened now and it feels a little bit, not irrelevant, but it feels like so much more could be talked about in this book if it came out a little bit later. But still, definitely read it if you don't know much about the situation. The next one was a BIPOC author, and for that one I read Vern, the Custodian of the Universe by Tyrell Waiters. This was a random comic that I got given to me. Somebody was like, you like comics? And I was like, yeah I do, I'll read it. And this is about Vern, who is a cleaner at a place that has time machines, and he goes to different places and random stuff ensues and he's trying to figure out how to stop what's going on. After that, the next prompt is Animal POV. Boom, we have another Fables. This is volume 2. It's called Animal Farm, so obviously it fits the prompt of Animal POV. It's about the animals of Fabletown because they have to live somewhere else because they don't look like humans, so they can't live in the human bit, and they live on a farm, and like they're revolting a bit, a la Animal Farm. The next one was continuous series, so I read, oh, I've missed one out. Secondhand / borrowed. Let me just do that now. Boom. Monstrous Volume 3. I bought Volume 3, 4 and 5 as a bundle on eBay. It's a great series. I'm finally reading it. Yeah, it's high fantasy and it's really good, but really intricate. I feel like after I read this series I'll need to read it all again in one sitting because it's just so intricate, but the art's amazing, the story's amazing, and it's just great. So yeah. Now let's get back to where I was being. Continuous series, Sex Criminals Volume 2. There we go. I started this series many years ago. I finally thought, hey, maybe I should pick up the second volume. Got it for super cheap on eBay or whatever, and then read it. I actually was surprised at how much I liked this, because the first one was like funny, you know, it's about people having sex and then time stops and then they rob a bank. But this one goes a lot into mental health and stuff, which I was not expecting, but I very much was pleased that it was like some serious topics and stuff. It's very interesting. The next one is a retelling, and for that I read Icarus by Kay Ancrum. This, I mean, his name's Icarus, it kind of gives it away, but this is a story about Icarus, who was an art thief, and he's nicking all these paintings off this dude that his dad like had a falling out with 3 years ago. But then one day the dude is nicking stuff off son Helios, finds him there, and then they strike up a friendship and then more, and it was really good. Kay Ancrum, I just really enjoy her. The next one was Hay Fever, Out of Your Comfort Zone. So for that one I read Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I've never actually read a Stephanie Garber book before. I know Caravel, I think, is a series that she wrote. Never read that. This book is a book that one of my friends got me for Christmas. She was basically like, I asked my sister what is a good book because I'm not really sure, and she got me this one. It's good that I hardly ever read like popular stuff, or I hardly ever buy popular stuff like brand new or whatever, because I didn't have this and I'd never heard of it, and it's out of my comfort zone because of that, because I didn't pick it up myself, but also when I started this I realised that there's a little bits in second person, which if you know me, you know I am not a fan of second person, very much despise. But it was only like little prequels to each of the chapters which were in second person. It wasn't too bad, it was like a page or two. But every time I was like, why are we doing this again? But yeah, this was interesting. It is a start of a series. I don't know if I'm going to carry it on. I feel like it's wrapped up enough in this one book that like I'm safe, I'm good with it. It's about this woman trying to figure out stuff. There's this college course and it's about all these secret things going on, and they figure out the secret things going on are real. And yeah, I feel like the story wrapped up enough in here that I probably don't need to carry it on, but I enjoyed it. Next up we have international author, and for that one I read All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend by Aurora. Aurora is a Norwegian vocalist, and she brought this book out for a 10-year anniversary of her first album. So yes, I did talk about this in the wrap up that I mentioned earlier about that other book, so boom, go and have a look there if you want it. Next up was Shorty's book on TBR, and I was looking on my actual physical TBR, but then I remembered that Kindles exist, so I had a look at my Kindles books and I ended up reading Ushers by someone Hill. What's his first name? Joe Hill. Is it Joe Hill? It's Joe Hill probably, if it's there, potentially. Anyway, this was a short story and it was interesting. I can't really say much about it because I feel like any words about it, like the story's so short. But when I started reading I was like, okay, like what's going on here then? It's not really that interesting. But then, you know, the twist happened, you're like, oh, I see. Alright, train, calm down. Yeah, I was like, oh, I see where this is going, and it was good. So I enjoyed that. It's the first book I've ever read by him, and it was good. The train is still going. Why is it so long? The second to last prompt was dual/multiple POV, and for that one I read Heated Rivalry by, I want to say Rachel Reed, I think that's her name. Anyway, I watched the TV show. now there's more traffic. I watched the TV show twice, and then I thought, you know what, I'll read the source material. And I feel like watching the TV show first made me enjoy the book more. I feel like it might have been a bit cringy just reading the book, but because I already had these characters in my head, I already knew them as people, I actually enjoyed it. I'm not going to carry the series on, I'm just going to wait until the next season comes out and enjoy it and not know what's occurring. So yes, and then the last one was title with any of the letters in the word spring, and for that one I reread Sex Criminals Volume 1. Like I said earlier, I read this about 5 years ago, maybe even more than that. So when I got Volume 2, obviously I needed to reread it because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I couldn't remember. So yeah, there we go. That was the last thing that I read in the Spring Reading Challenge. Boom. Let me know down below if you participated in the Spring Reading Challenge, what you read, if you've read any of these, anything down below if you want, because that's what it's there for. And yeah, I will be back with another video. And I know that for certain because I'm about to film another one right here, right now. So, yeah, see you then maybe. Bye.